And welcome back to the Average White Guys. My name is Alex Haynes, one of the owners of A Squared, and we help you turn those likes into dollar bills to ROI and marketing. That's right. And I'm here with the one and only, the man who's seen the beginning and possibly the end of time. He has seen every new fad and actually helped define fads. And you'll know more about that here in a second. That's right. I'm talking about the one, the only, the almost omnipotent Justin Scouten.
Hey everyone, this is Justin with LLW Properties, Community Real Estate Services. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
And Justin, almost omnipotent one, what are we talking about tonight?
These are the toys of our lives.
All right, so toys of our lives. What are we talking about today?
So you have to go with the reference of how I said it, though. Does anybody know what that is? The Days of Our Lives, soap opera. So I just had to.
It's a show that old people watched, right?
Is it still on?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Someone look this up for us.
I haven't watched a soap opera in 45 years, probably.
I have never watched a soap opera. I've been told I would love them, though. I might have a thing for drama. That's another conversation for another time.
So we were talking about toys of our generation is kind of what we're talking about, how maybe it's defined us, how the different generations have grown up on toys and it, like why the newer generations are weaker. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that as Generation X, just
they're weaker. I just want to clear the air about something. You do know that when you were around, they put saddles on dinosaurs and that was the toy. You rode them, right?
No, we had we had more than a stick and a rock as a
you
toy.
A stick and rock called stickball, right?
We were the first generation of the wiffle ball bats.
The wiffle ball bats. Oh, so you were the weak ones. You could handle a real ball in a bat. You started this problem.
You try running around the bases when you hit a little plastic ball with a plastic bat. I mean, you're lucky if you got to first base.
Yeah, that is true. You hit that thing as hard as you can, and it fell
went
three inches away from you. Like, what happened? Yes. I put everything to that.
So we're just talking about some of the generational toys that we grew up on. Like my era was the G.I. Joe, Transformers were huge at the time. Actually, where the cars would change, and that was amazing that they could actually change from a car to a robot.
Back in Transform?
We're talking like 89. So I mean, that was huge for back then.
So I just had this and now I forgot. It was a digital pet. Tamagotchi? Is that no? Tamagotchi. I said it wrong. I had it in my head. The digital pets where you got to take care of them and they would die. Did you know they don't always die if you remember to feed them? I didn't know that.
I never dealt with those.
Yeah, they always.
But if you want to go back to how old I am, I mean, we used the flour bags from school and an egg. I mean, that's how we determined if something was going to die or not.
That was too harsh for us.
Yeah. Oh, you're that part of the generation.
Well, we were the beginning of the generation when everyone got an award. When I didn't understand that. Yeah. I'm like, but they lost. I'm like,
participation awards.
We all won together. No, we didn't. They lost.
Somebody got in for a minute to play. You know,
everyone got a chance to play. The way we all won was we all got slushies, and so that was the win, right? So, so your toy. So
let's go generational here again. We got orange slices that we could maybe put in our mouth. I'm like, that was the.
Oh no, we got sugar. 100%. We got sugar. Sugar was a thing. Our sugar was so consumed. I'm pretty sure that's why an entire generation all has diabetes. Right. We had so much sugar in the cereal that now they're not considered like actual food is considered candy. Like we had chocolate chips they made into cookie bites. It was just miniature chocolate chips. They try to pass off as cereal, man.
What was that cookie one?
It was cookies and
Cookie Crunch.
Cookie Crunch, right? There was another one.
Burglar on that.
Literally mini Oreo cookies. And they try to say it was a part of a complete breakfast. It was amazing. Fruity Pebbles was 99% sugar and 1% dye, and I don't know how it was stuck together.
It had wheat. It was good.
There was no wheat in that. I'm pretty sure it was all sugar and dye.
So we are trying to talk about toys here.
Oh, sorry, I got carried away.
But that does bring up an interesting fact if we are talking about toys, because do they have toys in cereal anymore?
I could have sworn they did.
I don't think they do.
And then I found out because I went shopping the other day that they don't, and I was very sad.
Do they even have stickers? Like, I think Cracker Jack Cracker Jack still has a toy, doesn't it?
Funnily enough, Cracker Jack isn't a cereal; it's a popcorn.
Sorry,
it goes back to what do you put milk on? But no. Well, Cracker Jack does have like the You know, they used to come with a toy, but now they
Oh,
just
yeah.
come with like a stamp or
Sticker.
sticker or something. I
That's
don't know
why
what
it's
it
a
comes.
generation of
Yeah.
everybody loving tattoos. Is that part of
Yeah.
it?
No, temporary tattoos is a big deal. Like I remember, like in the whole reason you got the cereal was actually to get the toy
Yes.
when I grew up because
Yeah.
there was some like you got the decoder ring or you got the spy glasses or something, right? It was always a piece of junk and it always broke and you never got it and somehow it was in the other box of cereal.
Yeah.
Or your parents actually stole it from you. They didn't want to tell you. Not saying my parents did that, but I have some suspicions.
Yeah.
They were cool toys. So let's talk about actual toys though. What did you grow up playing with? Was this stick in a ball?
No, actually, I was the generation of GI Joes. It was
Okay.
huge at the time.
Now, when you say GI Joes, are you talking like actual like GI Joe dolls, like the like quarter-inch dolls? Or are you talking about like the little little green guys with the hut?
No. I had some of those, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I'm talking about the ones that were probably 6 inches. So that's why I'm kind of going,
like the Barbies.
you know,
opposite
6
of the
inches. No, just
so for those listening to the podcast, I'm not gonna tell you. You can imagine his measurement was off. That's 6 inches, then I am really screwed.
So anyways, no, we're talking about the ones that had the little plastic in rubber band, I think in the knees, and they were about 6 inches tall. But they had the actual some of the first like Jeeps and tanks and things like that you actually put the little figurines in, and
Okay.
they had bases, and then there was Transformers were about the same way.
Oh, see, I grew up where Transformers were much smaller. They were about.
Oh, they had minis.
I was only aware of the minis. I didn't know they had the big ones.
Oh yeah, no, Optimus Prime was probably about a foot long with the whole trailer in it and stuff like that as well. So yeah. No, I mean,
no idea.
I'm not that old. You know, we had some technology.
No.
Oh, some technology.
You mean paper and fire? You had fire?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
so
we had the first Apple computers when I was in elementary school, so that is dating me there
a little bit.
Like very.
Did they have the
Apple.
punch codes and that? No.
Yeah.
So
DOS.
That's pretty. So you grew up on GI Joes. Did you have any do you have any digital things? So you have any video game systems?
Not until that was 90s, early late 80s.
Mm-hmm. So you would have been like a young adult at that time?
Yes, I think is
teenager?
what it was. Yes, I was a teenager.
Okay.
Yeah, I was probably 13 or 14 at the time. That's when the first Zelda, the first Super Mario Brothers, Mike Tyson's Knockout, Knockout, something like that. Those were the first ones.
You know, I found out you can actually beat Mario Brothers. I did not know that. I just thought you got to level 3 and then you died.
Oh, no, you can.
Apparently you can beat the game. News to me.
Yeah. No, they even had cheat codes.
Yeah, you little cheaters. No,
I don't know if what they call them now. I mean, if they even give cheat codes.
Yeah.
Actually, they don't give cheat codes because you have to buy everything now.
You have to buy it.
Yeah,
Now it's about a loot box.
And for the cheat codes, just so the younger crowd, if they're listening to this, knows, you actually could get that from a magazine that you could purchase. It was like a Nintendo magazine.
Right.
You had to buy it. You had to wait for the next month to actually get the new cheat codes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun.
I grew up.
I was too poor to get the magazine.
I never got the magazines. We never got the cheat codes. Now, mine is a little bit different. I probably had systems you had because we didn't get the newer system. So I actually was raised on Atari and ColecoVision.
I did have Atari.
So Pong, like no joke, I had Pong. I didn't get till we were older, till I was like 10 or 12. I got a Sega, but I bought that from a yard sale. I always wanted a Nintendo badly. In the mall, there was something called the Gap. Is the Gap still a thing?
I don't think so.
It was a clothing store.
Oh, I know what the Gap was.
In that clothing store, they had a Nintendo system, and you could play it for free. And so Mom wanted to go shopping, and we all wanted to go to the Gap because we wanted to play Mario Brothers. And so like that was my experience of Nintendo, and I've always wanted one. Never got one until I was much older, and then bought my own systems. But I always wanted one when I was a kid. But Nintendo, Super Nintendo was big.
I had the first Game Boy. Well, I didn't have the first one. The first version of the Game Boy
had that as well. Got that.
Tetris was the biggest thing on that one.
Yeah, my mom loved Tetris. And then not the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color.
That's when I started getting.
Those are the ones that I grew up into. Furby for me, that was like a big thing. Funny story. You remember when Nabisco used to run those prizes? You call into Nabisco and you could maybe win a bus full of toys. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
It was a big marketing thing, right? So for like a year, I religiously every day after school called and called and called and called. I won second place. I got a big box, almost as big as me, delivered to my house. My parents didn't tell me. And then one day they pulled it out like, hey, by the way, you won. I'm like, won what? And they're like, oh, you won second place in this thing you were doing. I was like, I totally forgot about it. They hid it for a month because they didn't want to tell me. It was filled to the brim with like snacks and food and a Furby, which at the time was like a $200 or $300 prize because they were huge. Like they were like a big deal.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what this is. My dad's like, yeah, we're going to keep that in the box. You're never opening that. It's somewhere, and I'm pretty sure it got destroyed because Furbies are demons. Just kidding. When it woke up in the middle of the night and talked to you, that was freaky.
I wish I would have known though, like some of these toys, how expensive they could have been. Because
Yeah.
I know I even had a G.I. Joe, a couple of them that were in the box, brand new. I never opened.
Yeah.
And my mom was asking me because she was cleaning out a garage
She
one
threw it
day.
away?
She threw them away.
Yeah, they're probably worth.
Oh, I'm sure they would have been worth like $20,000 now.
Yeah.
Because they were 40 years old, mint condition.
I have
Never thought of it.
one of the things that was my teenage years that I loved that I actually still have, and currently my sister has, or my brother has this, one of them have it, and they better still have it, is a Virtual Boy, which was my first Nintendo buy. It was $500 when I bought it initially.
Never heard of that.
The Virtual Boy did absolutely abysmal in the United States. I think it only sold like 1,000 units total. It was the first 3D system. You had the goggles and it was on a stand and you looked at it and it was red lights and lasers. And it was the first 3D virtual game system that Nintendo put out. It was amazing. I loved it. I was like the only person who did. It gave you horrible headaches. You should never ever play with it. I owned that in like the 3 games that came out to the United States. It did not have it was very, very poorly received.
So would you like me to date myself?
Sure, let's do it.
Actually, I think they came back around like maybe 10, 15 years ago. But I had one of those first little things that you would look into and you would have to flip the little picture. I don't remember.
Pictograms, I think they're called.
Yeah, but I think it was the first time I ever saw Niagara Falls because there was a picture in there and it would give you the different views of it. So, yeah,
Those are pretty cool though. Those are pretty cool.
We also had Light Bright was one of ours. I think, again, they had some kind of version come back around to that, 20, 30 years later. But that would be, you had a black piece of paper with the lights behind it.
Oh, that's the old school one.
Yeah, we're talking
that
like
was LEDs. You just plug it in and it lit up.
No, you actually poked the holes into the different spots. And then the light behind it would actually show through. And that was...
How many homes did that burn down? That is a fire hazard.
I think maybe that wasn't, there was 2 different versions of Light Bright. So there was that one where you'd have to poke all the holes. And then I think there was a version of Light Bright where you put the things in and it was show the light through the little glass.
Yeah. That's the one I knew.
Etch a Sketch.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yes.
Mr. Potato Head was a big thing in every doctor's room had one.
Yes.
Like any doctor's room I had one. That's only where I could find it. I never found it anywhere else. I'm pretty sure they were just delivered to doctors. I mean, they didn't even go to the store. They just like, oh, here's your toy for the kids. They'll love it. They can only find it here.
This is their beginning of learning about the anatomy. No.
Lose an ear, put it back on. It's fine. It'll be fine. Put a leaf on it. It'll be fine.
Actually, it's funny how you're bringing back some of these things like playing Monopoly, Operation.
Oh, yeah.
The board games.
Yeah. Oh,
my kids, they're 20 and 22 now. They actually still like to play board games. So I guess that's been passed down.
Talking about games that are super dangerous, you should never have, like a fire starter, easy bake oven. That was a big thing. Food poisoning, 100%. Trying to just kill children around the world, easy bake oven and burn down homes. When I was growing up, something called Beyblade, and these were tops you spun, and they got really creative, like putting miniature saws on these things so they'd spark. And no one thought this through because they're being flung at somebody in this little they had these little arenas they sold, which are like dishes, basically like garbage can dish. And if you did it just right, it'd fling up and like cut your brother on the cheek because they're like little blades, probably spinning at 50 to miles an hour. It was insane because you can get these things really fast.
That's why the newer generation is so much softer than we are.
Softer. Did you bleed?
Yes.
Did you die? No? Then stop crying. Get up. Don't tell mom.
It still reminds me of one time I was in junior high. And a friend of mine was being stupid and he was playing with the stapler and he stapled his finger. And my math teacher, I can't remember her name now, but he goes, "Hey, can I go to the doctor's or to the nurse's station real quick?" And she goes, "Is it bleeding?"
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, it's not bleeding. Well, then you can't go.
You can't go.
Oh, here he has a staple in his flipping finger, and he
Nowadays, I have a
Sorry,
stick on my
again,
finger. Please don't
generational.
sue us. It was your fault, but please don't sue us.
Yes.
Oh man. But that like I grew up on things like even with our age difference, there were like I grew up with some of my parents' toys, which makes it unique. I had the old school GI Joes in the with the flipper, so like on the little stand, you like put all the GI Joes around the house. And then we had the airplane, the green airplane that would store like 100 of them inside. So those were a lot of fun. We had a whole battalion of ones with radios. I don't know why they give you so many with radios because they don't shoot, but communication is important now, and I know that. But still, when you're a kid, you want the ones with the guns.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Did you have any? I never had. My sister did. I had two older sisters,
people
and they
that were
them.
collecting Garbage Pail Kid cards.
Oh, those were
Pokemon cards were really big too when I was growing up.
That was a little bit past me.
What was the other thing? There was something else that was really big. We talked about it earlier too. Oh, Power Rangers was another one. That was TV show and toys. You know, you made it if the TV show had good toys. Like they made shows to give you good toys. Really what it came down to. That was another toy. Oh, Legos. How did I forget about Legos? So I grew up on Legos.
I did, but they sucked back then.
Well, did you get Legos or did you get the knockoffs?
No, I got, yes, there was a knockoff. I do remember, but no, I got the Legos, but they're nothing like, I mean, you can get the Enterprise Starship Legos.
Oh yeah.
Those type
you got Legos before they gave you the instructions on how to make them cool. You had to use
you were just building a building or something like that.
A block, and then
it was almost like Lincoln Logs. This is as good as they were.
Yep. I understand. Lincoln Logs.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ever do the one that was the metal one where it was like mechanical?
I did not. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I had that. It was awful.
Yeah.
And it would cut you. They were not child safe. Those things would hurt you. And they were rusty.
You know, they still sell the Lincoln Logs, and they're pretty much generational.
Yes, because it's wood, and someone made like 1 million of them like 150 years ago, and they're just still instilling their stock. They're just like, hey, just ship it out. Yeah. They just put a new sticker on it. It started at like $1. Now it's like $100 because it's just with inflation. They just keep adding another zero.
You know, it's funny now. I'm looking back at Monopoly is one of my favorite games. I used to play that with my dad.
Monopoly, the game you play to destroy your family. Yes, go on.
Oh, my dad was good at that. He taught us how to do. He shamed us very, very well.
I think it's every father's job because my dad did the same thing. He taught us about deals and negotiation.
Oh yes,
where we always made bad ones.
Yeah,
and he would make a point going, "Well, that's what you agreed to."
Yep.
But now I'm
and it was so bad with my dad and mom that my mom refused to play Monopoly with my dad because she felt like he cheated. I'm just like, now that I look back, I'm like, no, dude, he was just playing.
What are you doing with those pink 50s?
Yes.
What are you doing with those pink 50s?
Yeah.
It got so bad because there was a rule, like little known rule, that the bank can never run out of money. I don't know if you know this, but actually in Monopoly, there's a rule that says the bank can never run out of money. We had to make new $500 bills because my dad was just creaming us. So he had it all. Like he owned the bank. And I'm like, how is this fair? He's like, this is capitalism. Yeah. You want to own everything. How's it feel going around owning nothing?
How to mortgage this, mortgage that. You can sell that one and buy it back. Well, let me negotiate with you. I'll buy these two for that one.
I'll help you.
Like all of a sudden,
I'll give you these purples or these light blues. You get a whole row of light blues.
How is Baltic crap now?
I'll take the oranges off your hand. I'll take the green. You don't want Park Place and Boardwalk. Who lands on those? I did. As soon as I sold it and you put hotels on it, I did.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened. I land on them.
But I actually have to admit that helped me nowadays because we're in the real estate market.
Yeah,
and that helped me with some education there.
Oh, it definitely,
especially getting creamed.
Definitely made me understand the value of having money versus not having money and me wanting it. I am pretty sure my need for more money goes back to my trauma of not having it during that game.
I do have a shout out to my dad on this one because it was funny. We'd play games all the time. And if friends and stuff would come over, they would get upset because we'd be like, well, it's the scouting rules. We end up making up the rules as we go along because my dad was so good at it.
Yeah.
But if I haven't said this, my dad was one of 15 brothers and sisters. And I think I had like 80 cousins. My son and daughter are one.
Doesn't sound Hispanic.
Yeah. Dutch.
Oh, there it is.
Catholic.
Yes. Oh, that
explains it all.
Explains everything.
So I say this because my dad used to play with a lot of my older cousins.
Mhm.
And because he actually had some of his nephews that were almost the same age of him.
Mhm.
And so it was one of those where they would all tell stories about stay away from Uncle Tom
Mhm.
because he knew how to manipulate every game so he could win it. And none of them wanted to end up playing with him. So it was just fun though, because now I would do that at my house as well. And the kids are like, that wasn't the rule. I know that wasn't the rule at the time.
Yeah. I like that. It
So,
wasn't the rule at the time, but
yes.
now it's the rule.
It was not a rule, right?
Not a
So
rule. This is how rules are made.
yes,
It
This is-
technically wasn't illegal.
this is why laws are made.
This
Correct?
is how laws are made. Someone ends up dead.
Yes. And then I think so. What did help with this generation and building a backbone?
Your generation or my generation?
No, the newer generation, the younger generation.
younger
right now.
generation,
Yes.
yeah.
Nerf guns.
Nerf guns. Yeah, you would get
I've
shot.
had so many wars with my kids.
BB guns.
Yeah. Oh no.
BB guns were better because they actually hurt.
Yes.
They put an eye out.
Yeah.
Nerf guns were like the soft version of BB guns.
But we end up having some fun. I mean, like we could end up having it with neighbors.
Mm.
Like there would be 3 or 4 of his friends that
So
would
you
come
actually
over.
played with your neighbors. It was starting to be like, well, neighbors are bad because it's the people we don't know them.
No, well, this was with my kids. Nerf,
Oh, okay.
Nerf guns weren't around when I was that young. Yes.
Okay. So I do want to talk about today's, like we talked about what defined us as a childhood, and we joked about this next generation. And I'm finally to the age where I have to recognize that I've gotten old because there's a new generation, and I'm not envious of the toys they have because they don't have toys. They have like tablets, and as much as a gamer I love, the games they have to me aren't real games. You can't lose. They just go on forever and they drain you of money because they're like, you're paying to play.
You can buy all the awards,
Yeah.
or you can buy all the upgrades and everything else.
But there's one side of that aspect I think is a huge opportunity. So it's gonna be weird. Kids today, like young kids, are like learning how to program, and they're learning how to like do music in a whole new, like digital music in a whole new way. And they have, if presented correctly, they can learn something that's going to set them up for life through gaming. And I never had the opportunity.
Well,
Like there are games being built, like learning how to do Python as a game format. Like they gamified it. And so kids are learning
what Python is, because I bet you.
So for those who don't know, it's a coding language.
Yeah.
So kids are learning how to code their own games from scratch through a game and like get awards from it. I'm like, holy crap, that is so cool. Like people are learning languages. Like I have a friend who's got a young kid, like 6 or 7, who they're on Duolingo together and they compete to who can learn the language fast, and they like are getting points. So both of them are learning Spanish, but there's like this, 6, 7-year-old who's learning a new language through an app with her aunt, and she's having a fun time doing it. I'm like,
I wish we had that with our
Yeah,
kids.
I'm
trying
like-
to teach our kids Spanish, but I'm like, I can't
I had a
talk it all the
really
time,
bad
so
like audiobook that played, and like this really like, hello means hello. Can you say hello? Whatever it
you
is.
got to keep rewinding it.
I'm like, no, I didn't say that wrong. And no, try again. So I do think like as much as the digital thing is, to your point, I think we have disserviced them by giving them games where they can't lose.
Agreed.
However, at the same time, I think if you're a parent and you learn how to give them games that actually teach them something digital, I think that's a huge opportunity.
Well, we both talk about Alex Hermosi,
Yeah.
right? But one of our favorites is also Gary Vee. He's a business
Gary Vee.
influencer.
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk is his actually name if you want to look it up. But I think even online, it's Gary Vee.
Gary Vee. You just look up Gary Vee, he'll pop up.
And a lot of people will go up to him and say, oh, my kid's always on the computer, or always on my phone, or always on playing games like this. And, he backs esports. I think he's even
he owns an
owns
esports
part
game.
of esports.
He's like, great.
Yeah.
Teach him how to win.
Yes.
He's like, don't just let them play. Encourage them. Like, teach them how to win. Like, do these things. Have them run a YouTube channel. I told someone that. They're like, oh, my kid wants to own a YouTube channel, but I told him no. And I went, why?
Yeah.
How old is he? They're like 10. Have him do it for the next 10 years. And don't let him stop. Why? Because when he's 20, he will make enough money to buy homes.
Yeah.
Every month.
But it's a balancing act. I get the one aspect of it too, because if they're only doing that, they're not getting, because I love the physical activity of things. It's
well, this
you
is
need
where,
a different mental capacity by going outside, playing certain games that way. And I'm not even saying you have to go do sports. I'm not saying that, but still getting outside.
Don't do sports.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Getting outside and doing activities.
Sunlight is bad for your skin.
You need vitamin D, so shush.
It's a pill. No, I agree with you. Like getting outside is healthy. So for someone who's in tech, right? And someone who is dabbling in becoming a developer, it's actually something I want to do with our company. We want to get into gaming because I love good storytelling. But part of the things I look at is the future of, and this is why I said, I don't think the future is VR, which is virtual reality. I think it's AR, which is augmented reality. And I think the future is smart glasses, because once we get smart glasses with the right batteries and the right technology, imagine you running, but you're actually playing a video game and collecting coins, and you can compete, and you can, this is the type of stuff like this. You are Sonic.
I laugh because, man, I'd be tripping everywhere.
Well, no, AR is augmented reality. You still see the path.
I know.
You'd also see the coins. And you'd be able to see through them. But I mean, if you're still tripping, that's your own problem, buddy.
Well, I'm not I'm pretty good with my running, right?
Yeah.
But I saw a TikTok the other day when it says how I think I run and then how I actually sound when I run, and it shows a donkey going.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
that's me.
I could
walking.
I could just imagine. Here I am running, like trying to reach out and look like. What are you grabbing at? Like this Pokemon thing.
You need help? Do you need medical help, sir? We've called an ambulance. No, I just need the coin.
Yeah.
He's hallucinating. Quickly.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Get the man some. He's old. He thinks there are coins on the ground. No, I'm playing a game. He thinks he's playing a game.
Again, you imagine some 80-year-old walking around with these glasses on, just going like this all the time, swiping at things and like kicking
Stop
things.
Chasing the cute girl in your glasses. You're a creep. I'm trying to call 911. Stop, please. Help me. I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah. So.
No,
but I can see that. I think you've talked about it in the past, like these VR glasses or AR glasses. You're going to be walking down the street and you can advertise and you can see things like that. So
think a Minority Report, but in glasses is not in your real eyes.
Gotcha.
Right. So
well, it's going to get there with lenses. I bet you.
I'm looking forward to that actually, but that's a whole nother conversation for another time. So I think we've joked and I think it's also partly true because humor comes from truth. This newest generation, I think every generation says, hey, they're softer than the last one. Mostly because, let's be honest, your generation came right after a war. You just went through World War II, right? We didn't really get a war during our generation. Vietnam. Oh, Vietnam. You just came out of Vietnam, right?
even that. I was more 90s early, so it was the Iran.
No, so your predecessors were Vietnam, is what I'm saying.
Yes, correct.
So you were the generation after that. We didn't really have a war. I mean,
not like those.
No, we had Iraq, but that's always been going on. There hasn't been a big World War I, and so someone basically said kids keep getting weaker until they have to deal with the reality of the world. And right now, we're very protected and we're very.
But here we are making fun of them in this aspect of it,
right?
But it's us who flipping did it.
Oh, 100%. This is our fault.
Me as an adult have turned my kids into this because we gave them participation awards.
Oh,
so
you tried.
Oh, yeah. It's like,
here's a tablet. Please stop crying.
No, it
Here's
should be
the show.
When I was there, it was like, sit your ass down. If you're not good enough, you're not getting out there and playing. You don't get anything. I'm like,
what can't I play? Because you suck. Shut up. Bobby, you should be more like Bobby.
Yeah.
He's 31, but he's small enough to look like he's 12. So watch him.
So
he's gonna hit a home run.
So as much as we want to joke about it, it's the generation before that has taught them what
screwed it up, right?
Yeah,
because they felt cheated and
we wanted to be better for them. We don't want all these rules. We want more freedom. Yeah, so we did it ourselves.
So what out of all this conversation, before we wrap this up, favorite toy you ever had?
Gonna have to be the GI Joes, and actually I don't know. I had to go with the Nintendo. I spent so many hours playing Legend of Zelda and Mario Brothers.
That's a good one.
The first ones.
Oh man,
so here I am joking about how this generation is just on computers and just on this, and heck, I would spend 8 hours on a Sunday just doing nothing but playing Super Mario Brothers and Zelda.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with video. I love video games. Yeah. I think for me, I didn't have the Nintendo, so I had Sonic. Sonic was one of my favorite. I also found out you can actually beat that game Didn't know that. Didn't really get past level 3 or 4. I was never good at video games.
Again,
I just loved them.
You couldn't buy things back then, so
You could. I think they're called the Game Genie or Game Shark or something. Did you know you couldn't save your games when we were growing up? They didn't save. When you turned off the system,
Zelda did.
Did it?
Yes.
Yeah, Sega,
Mario Brothers did not for the most part.
You turned off the system, you turned it back on, you started at 1 or 0, world 0. You lost all progress. You either beat it all in one go or you started over.
Yeah.
I never got past world 3.
Again, while we're a little tougher of a generation, you're like, oh, damn it, I got to start back over.
Do this again. Still sucked the 100th time I did it. Still died on the same stupid level. Those stupid flying turtles.
Yep. But so tell us what your generation was. Tell us what games you liked.
Man, I grew up, like I said, it was Sega Genesis for us. So I grew up playing Sonic. I played, that was a big one. That was probably the most popular. I grew up ColecoVision and Atari, so some old school games. Really fun, like some early dungeon crawlers is probably why I really like dungeon crawling games now. Monopoly was a huge family friend, and then Legos. I grew up with that was the big toy Christmas. We got a Lego set. Now our Lego sets were like the big things. I remember the coolest Lego set I got was was it one of the Death Stars? It was the first ship that blew up. It was one of the big ships that blew up the planet. The first ship from the first Star Wars film. It was huge. It was like as big as I was. I felt like it was thousands of pieces. It spent like 2 or 3 days building. It took like so many hours to build it. It was very fun. And I immediately crashed in the ground, broke it, and did it all over again. Like that was the fun part. You could destroy them and rebuild them.
Yeah, I remember
Hot Wheels.
Oh, how did I forget those? Where you'd hook them up to the counter and it would have the loops in it and everything else?
I totally misused it because we crashed them into each other, and that's what we did. We just threw them into each other and see if they broke.
I used to have the wars with my dad in our hallway where we would throw them at each other, and you hope you had the biggest card because whoever actually flipped. Yes, you lost.
Yes, I did that too. You weren't the only one, right?
All right, okay.
Yeah, and of course, anything that could throw out my brother and hurt him. That was also one of the games. It was called Duck. No, I'm just kidding. I love my brother.
Okay,
he's not here to defend himself. So,
want to know one of my favorite games with my dad?
Yeah, was it also called Duck?
Maybe this showed how broke we were and how a good parent he was with this one because we would take a butter lid type thing, right? And we would throw it down the hallway
like a frisbee. Yeah.
So it would be a long hallway. And if you hit it against the wall and they didn't catch it, you got a point. And so he just
frisbee, golf frisbee.
It was, yeah.
Pretty much the original golf frisbee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So you didn't need a lot of these fancy gadgets to have fun.
We got creative
for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, totally.
Until his needs
we were still the generation that we were told to go outside and don't come back in till later. Like go play outside.
Water was okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, mine was at least.
We lived on a well water system, so it was okay for us. But I was taught city. I was actually taught city water was bad because well water is better. Had vitamins, and minerals. That's why it tasted good. At least that's what they try to tell you. But we're getting way off topic here. My producer's dying with it because this explains so much. Explains so much.
Why you gotta have so many mental issues?
This is why he's so broken. Anyway. You know what? I'd love to know from our audience. Tell us in the comment section what your favorite toy growing up was. I'd love to see what it was. Did we say it? Was it on this show? Were you a Beanie Baby person? Like, what was the thing that identified your generation?
WrestleMania toys.
Oh, the Armstrong stretch. Yeah. Armstrong, was it Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah.
That was a weird toy. I never understood why people like that, but somebody did because it sold. At least marketing told me it sold.
Yeah.
What was it? Leave us a comment in the section below. I'd love to know. Would you like to know?
I would.
We both would like to know. And of course, because we need it. I desperately need your love. Hit that like button. Ring that bell so you get notified when we do more awesome things like that and tell you how your childhood was awesome and how this next generation is screwed. And then of course, hit that subscribe button because you need to do all those things. Otherwise, YouTube's not going to actually tell you when we put these things out. Didn't know if you knew that. So hit all 3 things. And then of course, share this. We don't care who you share it to. Your priest, your neighbor, the guy down the road who may or may not own a phone. We don't care. Everybody, the homeless guy, tell them about it. We need your help getting the word out. Hopefully he's got a phone.
They give out free phones for that.
They give out free phones. You can tell the homeless guy to subscribe. We'll still take it. We don't know he's homeless. We don't care. And Google doesn't know either. And that's how we get paid. So please hit that subscribe button. Share it with a friend. Share it with an enemy. Share it with a frenemy. You know what to do. Until next time, we are the Average White Guys.